record this to the cloud. I changed my mind. I'm gonna record this to the cloud. That way as you can see, I'm at the office because we were golfing and then I had calls and Steve had to show properties and I wasn't gonna have enough time to transport. So we're here tonight to talk about Deal Your Own Cards. Hold that back up, Mike, because my book is out at the lake because I thought I was going to be there. Deal Your Own Cards by Donna Sylvester. And tonight we're going to be talking about your story. So in chapter 3 of Donna's book, she talks about the story, in creating your story. What is your story? Where did you start? How did you get introduced to send out cards? What is your vision for send out cards? And so I was working on that yesterday and got most of the way through. I'm pretty good at just telling my story because I've told it for a long time. You can get really good at telling your story when you tell it often, right? Repetition is king. So Mike, I know that you were working on your story because you posted a picture of it. And I'd like to, in the time we have tonight, we might just be here for 30 minutes. There's just the two of us. We'll practice sharing our stories. So you want to go first?
Sure.
Awesome.
So going along with the what Donna wrote in her book, following the letters for the word story. So I just wrote down, I'm a real estate agent.
Okay, can you just kind of go over what the S says? I'm sorry I don't have my book, but read what the STORY is.
Yeah. So okay. So she basically gives an outline, and I'm guessing it's a send out card thing. So using 5 parts to create your story, with the letters from story, STORY. So S is start. Where did you start? Highlight your background and current role. This is on page 36 of this book. The T is for told. Who told you about send out cards? Maybe this is not your first network marketing company. What caught your attention? How did send out cards seem different from other companies you looked at or worked with? The letter O is for overcome. What life circumstance did you need to overcome? Where were you stuck? What dilemma were you facing? How does send out cards provide a solution to overcome the problem? The letter R is for results. What has happened since you joined? This does not have to necessarily be big money. It could be getting your first check, making your first promotion, meeting new people, renewing a dream, having fun, etc. The Y is for yes and thank you send out cards. So where are you going in send out cards? The people who join you in business want to know your level of commitment. So you're committing to yes, and then also giving appreciation to send out cards for the ability to do so.
Awesome. So you're just share what you've put together so far.
Okay. So I'm Mike Towers. I'm a real estate agent. I've been a real estate agent since 2006, started in California, and now I'm in upstate New York. I think I signed up for send out cards in May or April of 2018. Chip actually pointed out to me that we originally talked back in 2016. I didn't realize it was that long of a time. So I learned about send out cards from Chip Barkle. He shared his testimony on success with send out cards on Facebook in real estate agent groups. People were saying, what are you doing for business right now? And I'm cold calling and I'm door knocking and I'm prospecting and doing open houses like crazy and all this stuff. And then this guy says, I send cards and get all these referrals. And that really piqued my interest because for my business before then, up until that point, I've been doing like people call cold calling cowboy. I would get into, dialing for dollars and calling people, using scripts and knowing what to say and the right thing to say for an objection and things like that. but it was very time consuming. My business stopped when I took a day off from the phones, and you had to constantly grind and constantly call people, and people would hang up on you and be upset and don't call me and things like that. And then you'd learn to overcome that with turning it into a game and calling them back. I remember calling people back and saying, sorry, we got disconnected, when they probably hung up on me intentionally. So just dealing with that was kind of a drain on business. And so I try to find other ways to do business. And you hear about people who do open houses and spend hours just setting up for the open house, and then the chances of people not even showing up for the open house. So all these different ideas. I've done short sales. I've done foreclosures. I was a HUD listing agent, and all these different types of business, trying to find business. And I was trying to figure out a way, what can I do that I really enjoy, that is very effective, that I can just focus on? And I had experience doing direct mail marketing, mailing out letters and getting people's attention, people calling me and attracting business that way. And I was really good at it, and my best deals came from that. So I really liked and was plugged in to the idea of using direct mail marketing. Well, Send Out Cards works very well in a direct mail marketing type mindset business model, because you're mailing things to people, you're getting them, they're getting their attention, you're attracting, interest, and then you're getting them to call you back or to respond back to you for some reason. So I really like that approach. So I talked to Chip about it and got more information about it, and kind of waited. And I went into online buying leads and calling all these leads. I've called Mickey Mouse so many times, and he still won't buy a house from me. So getting through all of that, and it's just very, very frustrating. And then I keep hearing Chip having success, and another person called me, and this person listed their house with me, and so I talked to him, and he helped seal the deal, and I got committed into doing Send Out Cards. And then one of the first things he did, I think sort of like a welcome, he mailed me a box of brownies. I think.
You cut out. You're we can't hear you. You cut
Sorry, is
out.
that better?
Yeah, you cut out when you said he mailed you a box of brownies.
Okay. So he mailed me a box of brownies, and in direct mail marketing, it comes across as what's called a shock and awe package. And get your attention in the mail. And so, that was really powerful. And I like that whole experience. I want to do that experience. If you mail that to someone, they are going to open it, as opposed to maybe a letter or mail or a flyer that may not get read as much. So that was very, very powerful to me. I really appreciate that. I started mailing to people, and it was neat to get people to call me back. Hey, I got your card in the mail, or send me a message on Facebook. That's really, really neat. Thank you. That's really, really cool. And I appreciate how I felt mailing that information out to people. And so I saw results in me personally, and then I got people calling me. And so I could tell that if I continue doing this and have this a regular part of my life, in my business, that it would be very, very effective in reaching out to people and connecting with people. And I like the idea of transitioning from sell, to that relationship, and to have that appreciation and that interaction with people, and developing new friendships and things like that. And so I see the power of that. And I like the opportunity for what Send Out Cards can provide me in regards to being able to have a side business in addition to real estate, something that I can do to generate real estate business that is not, just a drag like cold calling, and the opportunity to encourage other people as well with the business. So that's where I'm at right now, and I look forward to expanding and doing more with it.
Very cool. I think I remember you opening up a box online in the group when you got those brownies. And so that's the impact that we have. You make a really great point, Mike. There's three ways people experience Send Out Cards. One is when they receive that shock and awe, the package that comes in the mail. When they receive a card, when they send a card, because they see the ease of sending cards, and then when they get that check. And, you know, the check could come in the form of maybe you've joined as an affiliate and you signed up your first customer and you get a check from Send Out Cards, or maybe it's you sent out that card that brought the referral and you closed the deal. So Chip, when we started this call today, you said, I'm closing $5 million plus or minus in real estate this week. And so I want you to start with that, just kind of because I want people to get that. Your story is very impactful, because I remember you said, I'm say, hey Chip, what did you have in your pipeline when you started Send Out Cards? And Chip was like, this, he had zero, big zero. So Chip, go ahead and share your story with us, how and why you got started with Send Out Cards.
Happy to do that. It was a fluke. It was a happy mistake, or an adventure, like Alice falling down the hole into Wonderland. I was in a Facebook group, and someone asked, who does Just Listed, Just Sold postcards? I said I did. I posted one of my postcards that I had done outside by a third party. And someone said, well, there's a group for sending cards. So I Googled Send Cards, and this group came up, and it said the official Send Out Cards group. And I was like, didn't really know what that meant, but whatever. So I joined, put my card on, and then this woman came on and said, asking me about my card, and said, was this are you a distributor? And I said, no, I'm a realtor. And then she asked me something else. This from Sincere, and I didn't know what that was. And I guess I didn't have any of the right answers. And she said, well, I'm Gail Zintak, and would you like me, you have no idea what this is. Would you like me to explain it? I said, sure. So that's when you explained that, what it was, and it wasn't appropriate for me to put my third-party card, so I took it off. But I saw what you did, and even though I wasn't supposed to be in the group, I stayed, and nobody kicked me out. But I listened to all the stories, and I heard, not just realtors, but amazing stories from all kinds of walks of life. And the bottom line was everyone had doubled and tripled their income, and had done amazing stuff with Send Out Cards. And you're right, when I joined, and it took me a while to join, at first I didn't get it. It was just a card, like what's the big deal, but I always liked sending cards, but they just got too expensive. And I thought, well, this is a lot cheaper. At that time, it was a couple of dollars, including postage, to send a card. And well, that's better than $4 or $5. So I joined, and I was driving down the street of somebody in my farm, an elderly woman who liked to garden. And I had not been to any of Cody Bateman's workshops yet, so I didn't know what a prompting was. But I was driving down the street, it was late March, I had just joined, and I thought, she likes to garden. I'll bet she's anxious to get in the garden. I'm going to send her a happy spring card. So that was a prompting, only I didn't know what it was. So I sent her a happy spring card, and she called me and thanked me profusely, and then ended up saying at the end of the call, by the way, a realtor knocked on my door and they want to buy my house for $1.9 million. And so, well, it's not a bad price. Is it the best price? The only way you'll know is if you let me market your house properly. And I did take the listing. So that $2 card got me a $2.5 million listing at a time when I had zero in my pipeline. So that was a big deal. And I ended up selling her house for $350,000 more than she was offered. So it was a win-win all around.
So then you've just started sending cards, and you've kept sending cards, and so how did you go from 0 to 35 million in your pipeline?
Well, that's a good question. It was back in 2016, right around that same time. We have a cottage, and I call them neighbors, but there's just some woman lives across the water, and they're like this big, and you wonder, when you wave, you wonder if they even see you. So I had given her my card once, and she lives in Toronto, even though the cottage is outside of town. And anyway, she did me a favor. She called and said, I hate to be a nosy neighbor, but your cottage door is wide open, and we hadn't been there for 6 months. We're on an island, so, it's boat access only. So she went over and checked it out and called me back and said, it's okay. I closed the door. We decided the handyman had been there and left it open, so no big deal. People forget, people make mistakes. So I sent her a thank you card with our lake on the front and just said, thank you for being a good neighbor, appreciate your neighborhood watch. And she called me back and said, you didn't have to do that. And I said, well, I know sometimes you do things you don't have to do, you know, but it really was a genuine thank you. I wasn't looking for business. She did me a favor, saved me probably about $300. A taxi service is $100 each way, and then probably a good tank of gas and a full day. And so she saved me all that. It certainly was worth, you know, a $10 box of brownies and a card. And then about 6 months later, she called and said, my neighbor just sold her house. Can you tell me what it sold for? Now, just the day before she called, I had looked, it was the beginning of fourth quarter of the year, and I had started in March with zero in my pipeline. And at that point, I had $20 million worth of properties in my pipeline. And I thought, wow, look at this. And I looked through the list, and they were all people I had sent cards to. So anyway, she called and said her neighbor sold her house. What did it sell for? Well, it sold for almost $4 million. And she said, I think you better come over and talk to us. So suddenly, they were in the market for probably to sell for $3.5 million and buy for $2.5 million. So that $20 million went up to about $26 million overnight. Now, they ended up not selling right away. They couldn't find anything they liked, decided we're just going to stay here. That was 2016. A few months ago, March, I think it was, she called me and said, a realtor knocked on my door. I think it's time for us to sell. I think now we're looking at a condo. Okay, fine. So I took them out, showed her 6 condos. She bought one. That one was $2.1 million. It closed last Thursday. And their house sold for $3.1 million. And that closes tomorrow, Wednesday. So, you know, now it took 3 years, and I look back over the last 3 years, I sent her 12 cards. That's a pretty good deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Think about it. If we just do it quarterly, if we just send a card quarterly to check in. I was talking with a realtor, EJ. Chip, I was talking to EJ today. We had a Zoom call, and she was telling me all these things she's doing, and she wants to consolidate. I said, well, and she was flabbergasted when I told her that I only have one CRM, and it's Send Out Cards, and it's all I've used for 12 years, and it's the only marketing I pay for. And so I'll just kind of share, like, if I'm getting up in front of a room, this is how I tell my story. Hi, my name is Gail Zintek. I'm an associate broker with eXp Realty in Portage, Michigan. I work alongside my husband. Back in 2007, I got a card in the mail. It said, nothing beats a great referral. And inside it was like, it was nice to meet you at the networking event. I'd love to get together to see if, buy you a Starbucks, see if I can help you grow your business. And I called him. I sat at my desk. I picked up my phone. I called Frank. We met at Panera. I sent a card to my husband, Steve. I went home and researched Send Out Cards. And given the options to join, I joined as an affiliate because I thought, if I'm going to use this service and I think it's great, why not share it with others and get paid? I brought 5 agents together in my office. Frank came and presented to them. 4 of them signed up, and my system was paid for way back 12 years ago. So right from the start, I had a really good experience with sharing Send Out Cards with others, and then getting that paycheck. And so over time, when the real estate market was, you know, kind of tanked out here in Michigan between 2008 and 2011, we had plenty of time to work on building our relationships. So that's what we did. And we entered a 100% referral business by 2012. We've closed 40 to 50 homes each year since then by referral. And Send Out Cards is the only marketing we do outside of belonging to the BNI chapter, Business Network International. As far as my vision for the future, I always believed that 10% of all realtors somewhere are going to be on my team, just because I feel like that's my niche. And I've attracted, look at just the 5 people that are on here on this call. We're all realtors, and you're all on my team. So I feel like I'm really living my purpose of sharing send out cards with others. And it's only going to get better as time goes on. And I'm really excited about the future that we have with send out cards. So I see Rebecca has joined us.
Bueno.
There's Linda. Hi, Linda. Oh, you're muted, but that's okay. Rebecca, can you hear me?
I can. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
I don't see you, but I can hear you kind of, sort of.
Okay.
Would you like to share your story, why you got started with send out cards? We're on chapter 3 in the book, Deal Your Own Cards, and it talks about developing your story so that when someone asks, what do you do, or tell me about send out cards, you can articulate that, how and why you got started.
Okay, sure. Thank you for the opportunity. Can you hear me, Gail?
I don't hear you. You're not real loud.
I don't know what to do to make that better.
Maybe just get closer to the computer or your phone or whatever. There you are.
Oh, I look horrible. I can't see anybody. My screen's not working.
Are we hiding behind your screen on your computer?
When I first came on, I could see everybody, but I can't see anyone, but that's okay.
Oh, we see. Okay. Well, we see you. I can hear you a lot better too.
Okay, perfect. Let me see. I got started 2 years ago. I had just left a 29-year career in property management and made a decision to do my real estate full time. And my first or second week with the brokerage I was with, Latika, who was my sponsor, we had a team meeting, and right after the meeting, she snagged me and said, I need to show you this app. I have an app I want to share with you, and I want you to download it on your phone. And I didn't even know who she was. I didn't know her name. I didn't remember her name. And I thought, boy, you're kind of aggressive. I probably don't want to look at what you have. But so I listened and was very intrigued because I love greeting cards. I love giving cards and I love receiving them. So I thought, oh my gosh, this is greeting cards. So I downloaded the app and didn't do anything with it for a while. And then I don't know, maybe, I don't even know when it was. Within maybe 2 or 3 months, we were at lunch and she brought it up to me again, I believe, and showed me on her phone how to make a card. And it looked so simple. I was excited because I don't think I'm a techie, and I thought that even I could do it on my phone. So I just over lunch decided to join and made a card right there. A guy came, we were in a Panera when I did it, and a guy came in. I ran out to my car to get something. This gentleman was leaving the restaurant and watched me get in and out of my car, and he came over to our table and complimented me on my car. And he said, "Is that your bright, shiny red car?" And I'm like, "Yes." And he was like, "Well, I really love your car. That's so nice. And here's my business card." So we exchanged cards, and he was a CPA. So I right there made my first card, and I took a picture of his business card and put it on the front and sent it to him. Never heard back from him, but that's okay. I still send him cards. So that's kind of why I got started. I was just excited about greeting cards, number one, and number two, when she explained I could make money, that really piqued my interest because I knew other than real estate, I needed another stream and wanted another stream of income. I've never just had one. So launching myself out there into a real estate career full time, living on commission, was brand new to me, and it's very, very scary. So that's why I did it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, because I think our stories are all unique.
Yeah.
And yet they're, you were a card sender. You love cards, so send out cards is a natural fit for you.
Yeah.
I think we attract who we are, so you will know. It's most likely you will track the card senders that you are, that will see that. And see, it's just, we have to take the time. It's time on task and developing our skill set of sharing. And that's why we're talking today. That's why we're sharing our story. Linda, do you want to share your how and why story? Are you enjoying the book? Man, you need to unmute. There you go. Wait. Lost Rebecca. I'm not hearing you, Linda. Let's see. Huh. There.
I got a new battery for my laptop, and ever since I put it in, it's been acting very strange. So I haven't read too much of the book yet, only because I have been going crazy with work. I'm happy, but at the same time, there's not been a whole lot of extra time. So I take it with me. I grab a page or two at a time where I'm sitting somewhere. So you want to know my story? Oh, I can't hear you, but it's okay.
We're on chapter 3, and we're just sharing our how and why story. And because it's important when people ask us. This is about building a send out cards business. So when people ask us why send out cards, then you can share why. How and why you got started.
Okay. How I got started was back in when it was a baby. I should have done all this then, but I didn't. I used the cards, and then I quit using them, and then I've been back and forth. But once I met Gail, that's changed a bit. So I have found that since I've started using the cards, my former clients have paid a lot more attention. That's why I'm so busy. They all know I care. They're like, we haven't heard from you for a while. It's put me back in touch with people. And that's what I like about it. It allows me to stay in touch with them better than I did before. So I've taken Gail's ideas of sending the baby card with the little giraffe, and that went over really big. I haven't done too much, though, about telling people about the opportunity. I tell a couple of realtors, but they're kind of taking their time, and I think they're just filling it out for right now. The one's a customer right now, so I figure he's going to catch on.
What I find is most people will do what we do. And so as long as we're out creating success stories for them, and we share those success stories, and it's like it inspires them to maybe send an extra card. Like you said, Gail inspired me to send the baby card with the giraffe. That's what we do. That's why I share what I do in the Realtors Business by Referral with Send Out Cards group, is because I think that, just when talking to EJ today, I was talking with her, and things I take for granted that I do. And we were just having a conversation, and she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that was wonderful. Like, a card. I think some people just find it difficult to know what to say. And so when they don't think they know what to say, they just freeze and don't do anything. So I can tell you that it comes a lot easier to me now saying things in cards than 30,000 cards in than it did when I was 1,000 cards in. The more you do it, the more it just comes natural. And just think about having a conversation with somebody. It's like picking up a pen and a note card and writing it out, except you don't have to scratch out when you mess up. You just backspace. And I think it's Send Out Cards is allowed me to connect with more people on a personal level because of the simplicity of what we have. 97, 147, the opportunity to connect with people at a personal level is only limited to what we put into it. 3 cards a day, 3 heartfelt cards a day. Chip, when I told EJ that today, she goes, you and Chip always tell me 3 heartfelt cards a day. Really? Is it really that simple? Well, it is simple, but it takes time on task. I was thinking last night, I was done sending, and then 2 more people popped into my mind that I'd had conversation with that were important, and I paused then. So yeah, I could have had an extra half hour of sleep last night, but I chose to send the cards because I had an emotional feeling at the moment. And I think if we all pause when we have those feelings, and we pause and we take that time that we might not think we have, and get it done, that's where the magic happens. The magic happens when those promptings are acted upon. And so I just want to encourage you all. It's 7:33. I want to head out to the lake before the Monday night call. I hope you're all on the Monday night call with Cody and Greg within the group. Also, the Grand Summit is coming up August 7th, and I hope you're making plans to be there. Cody has offered, if you're staying at the host hotel, 1 free night as long as you're there for 2 consecutive nights. So, hey, if you can fly out for just 2 days, fly out for 2 days. Make it it'll change your life. It'll change your world. I promise you that. So reach out if you have any questions about that. I do have a coupon code for, I think, the summit tickets and for the grand, for the convention. So if you need help with that, let me know and we'll get you there. Okay? All right.
Good stuff.
All right. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Mike, Chip, Rebecca, Linda, for telling your stories. And I'll see you on the Monday night leadership call soon. Bye, everybody.